Let's start with a quick experiment. Grab a pen or just open a blank note on your phone and write down your current age. Now, without looking it up, I want you to guess the total number of people worldwide who died in major plane crashes in 2018. The actual factual answer is exactly 500 fatalities. Look back at your guess. If you're in your 20s or 30s, there's a high probability your estimate was magnetized by your age, dragging it lower. When facing a complex unknown, the brain searches for a shortcut, a heuristic. It latches on to a recently processed number as a baseline. This specific error is a window into a broader reality of the human mind. Our initial impressions often dictate our final conclusions, even when those impressions have nothing to do with the facts. Psychologists call this the anchoring bias. It's the automatic process where the brain uses the very first piece of information it receives as a focal point for every judgment that follows. This glitch was famously documented in a series of experiments by psychologists Amos Tversky and Daniel Kahneman. In one study, they had participants spin a random wheel of fortune and then ask them to guess what percentage of United Nations countries were located in Africa. This chart shows how participants who spun a high number on the wheel consistently guessed higher percentages for the geography question. The brain isn't picky about its anchors. Even completely arbitrary, unrelated numbers skew our perception of reality. This bias has its most significant impact when the stakes are financial. Imagine walking onto a used car lot, ready to negotiate. A dealer might start by showing you the most expensive model on the lot, a car you have no intention of buying. That massive price tag sets an elevated baseline, shifting your internal scale of reasonable costs. When shown a cheaper car, it feels like a bargain. Even if overpriced, your brain compares it to the first anchor and concludes it's a deal. Negotiators and salespeople systematically weaponize this vulnerability, using carefully placed high numbers to dictate exactly how much you're willing to pay. Knowing that our brains are pre-programmed to seek these shortcuts, we have to build a system to bypass them. Defending yourself starts with acknowledging the bias and refusing to trust your first instinct as absolute truth. Because anchoring happens automatically, your best defense is intentionally slowing down the decision-making process. Practicing the pause and breathe technique, taking 3 deep breaths before responding, creates the mental space needed for your rational mind to engage. This physiological pause severs the link between an external anchor and your internal reaction, giving you the time to evaluate a number on its actual merits. Beyond just defending, turn this cognitive vulnerability into a tool by dropping your own anchor. Before entering any negotiation, find the true average baseline through independent research. Armed with that data, aim to be the one who makes the very first offer. Making the first offer forces the other person's brain to recalibrate their expectations around your number instead of yours around theirs. We might never fully rewire the way our brains search for shortcuts, but by recognizing these invisible anchors, we can reclaim the wheel and protect our own judgment.